So, Christmas is coming and someone's crowdfunding account is getting very, very fat indeed. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about Retro Computers Ltd and the shambolic ongoing Vega Plus campaign, or the evidently vague Plus campaign as I like to call it. So anyway, if you are considering backing this project, then please stay tuned. Things get rather interesting. So let's begin. Right, okay, so in February 2016, Retro Computers made live a crowdfunding campaign through Indiegogo to fund the Vega Plus. I obviously was very excited for this, so I pledged £105 of my money to this company to get this project off the ground, and to be quite frank, in a nutshell, I wish I had never bothered. So I'm going to do a video as to all the problems and concerns that people have had with this company, and hopefully at the end of it, if you're considering backing this project or you are a backer, then maybe it might open your eyes a little bit into how this company deals with its customers. So here we go. Right, so if you go to Companies House official site, you can actually delve into the history of this particular company. So we're going to take a quick look at that right now. As you can see here in the overview tab for Retro Computers Ltd, you can see the registered office address, the company status, company type, incorporated on, some information about accounts, confirmation statement, nature of business, and also previous company names. And when we head over to the People's tab, we can see the current active directors and also the resignations of the people who were involved within the company. If you've been following this, you will know people who are in charge of Retro Computers now, and also people who have resigned too. So useful information. And then we move on to the filing history tab. So within this page you get the previous accounting periods, confirmation statements, registered office address has changed numerous times, and also the appointments of company directors. Now the changes of address, I think they've had 3 addresses this year, but I'll be covering that in a little bit more detail very, very shortly. And then we move on to Mr. David Levy. So as you can see on this screen here, and you can click on these companies by the way for more information, he's currently an active director for Ping Pong Studios, Erotic Chatbots Limited, we'll come to more about that in a second, Retro Computers Limited. He's also an active director for Intelligent Toys Limited. He was a consultant for a now dissolved Puzzle Mind Limited, and he also resigned from MSO Limited, Love Learning Limited, and the Brain Trust Limited too. Now coming back to the Erotic Chatbots Limited, that I think probably takes us forward to sex with robots. Now I've left a link up on screen for you just now of a little article that was on the metro.co.uk, and he's also attending a 2nd International Congress on Love and Sex with Robots, which is due to take place on the 19th and 20th of December 2016 at Goldsmiths University of London. And interestingly enough, the registration fees for this, for full registration, is £200, and for a student it is £125. So a nice money-making scheme if you can get it. So the question is, with his busy commitments at the moment, where does the commitment to the Vega Plus and their backers come in? Yeah, that's one to think about. And then we move on to my personal favourite, Suzanne Martin. As you can see, she's still an active director for Ping Pong Studios and Retro Computers too. Now, I have had a few dealings with Suzanne Martin in this campaign since August time, and I will be covering the dealings that I have had with her a little bit later on in the video, so please stay tuned for that as well. And then finally we move on to the third person in this triangle, Dr. Janko. Now as you can see, he's still a current active director in Planet Computers Limited, Quarks Holdings Limited, Ping Pong Studios Limited, Retro Computers Limited, Intelligent Toys Limited, Private Planet Limited, and also Dynamical Systems Research Limited. So, wow, he is one insanely busy person. So again, the commitment to the Vega Plus campaign, how far up that ladder is his priorities with it. So again, interesting reading. And then we move on to their current registered address, and not the address that is on their official website. And just by doing a simple Bing search, it comes up with the results that there are 303 companies registered at this address. So to me that seems a little bit dodgy and a little bit dubious, but like I say, I don't really know a lot about business law, so maybe somebody can let me know whether this is a normal standard practice or not. But just on a side note, I think that's very, very interesting to see. Okay, so here we have a copy of my order details for my £105 pledge. So as you can imagine, I was very excited to be on board with this campaign. But, yeah, if only I knew then what was going to lie ahead for me. Stay tuned, the details are coming up just now. Right, okay, so if we go back a few months to August time, I got an email come through from Indiegogo basically saying my order has been marked as refunded. The Sinclair ZX Spectrum Vega Plus console has marked your order as refunded. The campaign owner should contact you regarding details about this order. So anyway, to double check what was going on, so I wasn't sure exactly what was cracking off, I sent them an email back saying I've had this email come through saying that my order has been refunded. What is going on? It's apparently been refunded through PayPal, but I don't use PayPal and didn't place the order using PayPal. See, I placed my order using a debit card, and as far as I believe, they should actually refund back on that method of payment as well, but they didn't. They actually somehow managed to give me my money back through a PayPal account that I've not used in about 8 years. So I don't really use PayPal, I don't like PayPal, but that's how they refunded me my money anyway. So if we continue, I got a response back from them saying we have refunded your payment and it's been accepted according to our account on PayPal. This refund is a gesture of goodwill. Given your false allegation made to a third party, we invite you to withdraw these comments. So apparently I'd given a false allegation made to a third party company. Right, okay, so we'll continue. So I responded with, what false allegation? This sounds bizarre. Please give me all the details as I am intrigued. So I would have thought if they've got the details what I apparently sent, there would have been no problems in me getting hold of that. So then the email goes on to continue with their response saying, we were sent a copy of your email to Indiegogo and we will not be commenting further, only to invite you to withdraw your comments. So obviously I have to reply to this email, and I actually replied with, what email and what allegation? I don't understand. If there has been a false allegation made, it certainly has been made by myself. I would like you to send me these details so that I can look into them myself. Something here is not quite right. So there's obviously something that has gone wrong somewhere along the line. You'll find this to be a bit of a common theme with Retro Computers. So then they replied very, very briefly, did you contact Indiegogo? Well, if they've got the emails and all this is true, then surely they would know. So I responded with the communication. The only communication that I've had with anyone, either with Retro Computers or Indiegogo, is when I placed my order for this item. If I have had false allegations made, then I would like further details, which obviously, if I'm supposed to have made them, again, I don't think that would have been a problem. Any allegations made have not been made by me, but please forward the details to me as I will report this issue to the police. So obviously, this is something that's slightly concerning and not quite right. So I put that to them. Then lo and behold, not too long after that, they got back to me saying, it would appear that we have more than one of me registered, and this is a mistake on my part. I cannot apologise enough for the mistake. Please accept the refund and I will try and get to the bottom of how this had happened. So I call their bluff on this, and then all of a sudden they come out with a lame excuse saying there's more than one of my name on their database, which you would have thought that's something that they would have checked out anyway. So, you know, heaven knows how this company actually works. It's just an absolute disgrace. Okay, so with this communication leaving a rather sour taste in my mouth, I responded by saying, I'm still not happy, this is serious stuff, what will be happening with my order? To which Suzanne Martin replies with, can I call you? You'll seem to find that's a pretty common theme with Suzanne Martin if you've been keeping up to date with all the comments on the Indiegogo Vega Plus page. And then she says, can I call you and explain how the system backend works? Now, I don't really care about their system backend. And also to apologise. You will receive your order as promised. And then she goes on to say, I have reported the issue to Indiegogo and I will also ask them to mark your contribution as paid and not refunded. Now, she did do that because that did eventually happen. It took some time to get sorted out, but that did actually eventually happen. So she is capable of doing something right. And then it goes on to say, I can only apologise for the error and as a further gesture of goodwill, invite you to our launch in Beeston when it takes place. So I was going to be invited to a launch party in Beeston when it takes place. Again, from what I believe, this has actually happened with other people. This is actually quite common, actually, where she's promised to invite people to a launch party. But I can only speak for myself, but I was invited, and that launch party actually came and went. Then it also goes on to say, on a new email, we thought you would like to know that this matter has been escalated by Indiegogo, and we will let you know the outcome as soon as we have more information we are able to share. So that was back in August, and we are now on the 18th of December, and I still haven't heard anything of that at all. So, you know, make of that what you will. So here we go. So on to the next one. I respond by saying, I'm still disappointed with this matter, and to be honest, it has left a sour taste in my mouth. I'm a massive fan of the Spectrum and bought the Vega through the crowdfunding scheme, which was for me, which was a smooth campaign. And then I go on to say, and still to this day own my Sinclair Spectrum Plus 3. I can assure you that any allegation was not made by me and would like to know the outcome. Obviously, like I just said not long ago, I'm still waiting for it. And then I go on to say, however, I would love to attend the launch event if possible, but it'll all depend on if I can make it, bit of a typo there, as I currently do not drive. Now, like I say, that launch event has been and gone. They never got back to me at all because, again, if you're going to attend one of these launches, you need to know whether you need to get the day off work. So obviously they didn't have the decency to get back to me on that and basically just strung me along for quite some time. And on to the next email from them. It goes on to say, I can honestly only apologise again, and when Indiegogo explain how this might have happened, I will tell you more. Obviously, I'm still waiting. We know it was not you, and we have reported the actual person to the appropriate authority. Now, they seem to have a bit of a thing for this as well, a bit of a theme for this, on apparently reporting people to the authorities. Anyway, then he goes on to say, we are delighted that you would like to come to the launch. Whereabouts are you based? I thought they had my details, so I thought they would have known that anyway, but it must be something to do with their back-end system. So I go on to say, I actually live in where I live now, so roughly only so many miles away from Beeston. I would, however, need a date and time as depending on where it is. I may need to book time off work. We'll be looking forward to it, though. And then she goes on to respond with, that's great and really easy from there, because I do actually live quite locally to the Beeston factory. And then she puts, the factory is right next to the station in Beeston. It is a short walk across a car park. We haven't confirmed that date, but I have added you to the list and will let you know ASAP. So anyway, that's pretty much that for the emails. We will be coming back to the launch party invite later on in my video too, because there is more to come from this. So anyway, we move on. And then we move on to all of the upset backers that have actually posted messages on the Vega Plus campaign page. But first we do that, I want to draw your attention to an article that was on the Inquirer, dated the 28th of November 2016, for the ZX Spectrum Vega Plus production is delayed but RCL hopes for pre-Christmas rollout. I will leave the link to this up on screen in case you want to go and check it out yourself. Now, there's a few things in this article that I want to draw your attention to. There's There was an interview with Suzanne Martin where she says that there's going to be a brief delay. They've now completed all the necessary revisions and have also produced the first batch of custom-made modified buttons, and will be spending the next few days manufacturing units using the already completed electronics and the newly modified buttons. So anyway, that's one little bit that's worth pointing out. And then if we move on to the next section that I want to draw your attention to, they go on to say that the latest delays cause understandable disquiet amongst backers, fueled by an ongoing campaign of extremist social media activity, which I've seen absolutely none of that whatsoever. I have seen upset backers because of the lack of information from RCL, and that's completely understandable. It's £105 of their money, and they're getting no information from Retro Computers at all regarding this activity. So anyway, it says extremist social media activity including Twitter and Facebook attacks, making claims that the project is in trouble, including personal attacks on members of staff and allegations of bad business practice, which I will vouch for, strenuously denied by RCL and all its staff. Now that is just absolutely laughable. The business practice of this company, in my opinion, is an absolute joke, so I don't even know how they've got the audacity to actually even say that. So anyway, we will move on. So they asked Suzanne Martin, firstly, that version of the console we reviewed, do you still say that was a production model? And she doesn't really answer the question. It's kind of like a vague answer, saying it was just a short initial production run, blah, 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 blah. Some were given to young testers, and it was them that pointed out the problem with the component. And then she goes on about another question about Christmas delivery, and she says they hope to get some units out before Christmas, but they can't really promise that until they get the test results back this week. So bear in mind this was on the 28th, so that really should have finished, what, the 4th, 5th of December? And we're now on to the 19th. This was a completely unforeseen incident at the last possible moment. And then it says it's the nature of the consumer electronics arena, given some of the things that have happened between the Vega and the Vega Plus. So this guy goes on to say, well, what sort of things? So she goes on to talk a little bit more, followed by, don't assume everything you hear about us is true, which is, I actually find that to be quite funny, to be fair, because the vast majority of things, if not all the things that I've heard about RCL, are true, and they're not very positive as well. And then let's have a look. One other matter of concern is that when there have been problems, comments have been deleted from your Indiegogo page. I am going to cover this just coming up now, because numerous comments have been deleted from their page. Completely acceptable comments, just people challenging Retro Computers on the information that they're given. So generally that's not the done thing. So Suzanne Martin goes on to say, true, it's not something we do lightly. Much of what has been deleted is rude, multiple posts, sometimes over 100. Well, I've not seen anything rude at all. I've not seen multiple posts. Attacks on other backers and offensive. Again, I've not really seen any of that. Some of it comes from elements that are not only known to us, but to Indiegogo as trollers and spammers. So they are actually calling people who are challenging their business practices and their forthcoming of information as trollers and spammers. And then he goes on to say that they're actually working with Indiegogo to try and do something about that, about conforming to the community guidelines, which I think is something that they need to actually take a look at themselves. So let's move on. It says anyone who leaves constructive criticism, questions or concerns will be respected, but we can't promise to respond directly to them all individually. Which, again, is quite funny if you've been checking out the comments on that page. We also get bucket loads of supportive messages telling us that people want the product to be right and not rushed, which everybody wants the product to be right and not rushed. So that I am got an issue with. And then she goes on to apologise about the delay, saying we're also sorry on behalf of all those spreading the misinformation that's floating around. Now, from what I've seen, the misinformation is actually coming from RCL. And they're just going to apologise that they're sorry. We can't currently explain why in more detail, which is something that they've also been evading as well. So anyway, now we've done that, we will have a look at some comments from the upset backers. And we're starting from the first one, where somebody's DM'd numerous times for a refund and on about disinformation. Then we've got another one, which all four of them are giving negative feedback and probing questions. And again, more angry ones. Somebody saying that they'll just put it together themselves and that the love has gone from the project. somebody got kicked, and also somebody found the mobile app backdoor as well, so you can still comment. So if they don't like what you say, basically what they do is they ban you so you can't comment. But somebody actually found a backdoor where you can actually comment through the mobile phone app, which is very useful. So then we have another banned, refund received but not requested. A backer posted more than 30 messages apparently. You can double check this by just clicking on their name and see how many messages they've actually sent, and they've done that to try and get a response. And move on to the next one. 3 direct messages in 2 weeks for a refund, with the threat of escalating it further. And then we've got a message that was either deleted or moved, because I posted a message. Some of these messages on there are going to be from me, by the way. But I actually posted a message to somebody, and the message that I actually posted in response to was either actually deleted or moved, because I could no longer see it anymore. So that was another interesting one. And then we move on to 3 refund requests. Response is questionable. And then we've got another one, which I think is quite funny, where Retro Computers released old footage on the 14th of December 2016, claiming to be new, and everyone bought it. So we've got another back here saying they're puzzled by the actual comments, where the people saying that they're pleased about it. So yeah, I mean, the actual footage that they released claiming it to be new was basically a video of the production run, and that happened in October and November. So if you go to the YouTube channel, it does actually even say that on there anyway. So what have we got next? So yeah, and for the next one, we have got comments about everybody buying into their new video. So I'm starting to actually wonder whether these people are shills or not, because it's old news, and these people are actually praising Retro Computers for giving them old news, even though, sorry, for giving them new news, even though it's old stuff. And then we've got another one with Retro Computers asking somebody if they want back in, even though from what I believe, Retro Computers kicked them out anyway. And then, you know, this person says, you know, they were kicked out not by their choice, and now Retro Computers were saying, you know, do you want to come back in again? Personally myself, I would have told them exactly what to do. I'm not going to tell you my exact words what I would have told them to do, but I practically would have told them to go do one. And then another deleted message. So yeah, another deleted message for that particular one. And then another one where we've got people thanking RCL for the update, but then we have one backer here saying, I am not complaining or naysaying since I pledged only a short while back. I'm just curious to know what the latest video proved to people that they didn't know already. Surely everyone already knew a small number of units had been produced. So somebody there actually asking the right questions. So then we've got another one who's about a comment about the old footage, and another concerned backer too, and again somebody else asking the right questions. The video makes me even more nervous. Not only does it expose yet another lie, this video is from the sham launch party a few months ago, which obviously someone was lucky to be invited to, but I wasn't, and features prototypes. But it means the unit is still not in production, and if RCL is having to pass this off as something it's not, then what state is the project in? And then another deleted comment followed on by that. And again, something else that's quite interesting as well is Retro Computers have made a claim, and obviously the backer has actually turned around and said that that is a slanderous comment. And another backer here saying that he also, they also said he sent abuse, but was only involved in an email conversation with Suzanne Martin. They've actually gone to post that on Twitter as well. And another one, they say, here we go, so this backer got a refund immediately for trolling, such as, well, he says for trolling, but such as, you know, when is the delivery, and questioning the video. And also goes on to mention that the The actual project is 360% overfunded, and goes on about something to do with false allegations, and they're also telling him and also a previous backer to stop as well. So, and then we move on to the final one, where we have a backer saying, "Backers, are you still believing RCL inconsistent empty updates? Just read how they're treating backers. Insulting, bullying, not actioning requested refunds, firing them out if raising questions about delivery forecasts as they did with me also. Do you feel confident in what they say? Was Christmas deception enough, or you expect new lies from RCL? Wake up, this is going nowhere. Ask refunding your money before it's too late." Now, again, just below that comment, there's somebody else saying, "As you're online at the moment, could you please action my refund? Have DM'd you twice with no response. Many thanks." And somebody at the bottom, just below that, just basically asking what state is the actual project in at the moment, as regarding the firmware and also the front end. So anyway, a lot of angry backers, and Retro Computers just seem to turn a blind eye to them, or end up deleting particular messages, which they have done, because I've got proof on screen as we speak through the previous messages. And also they end up giving people compulsive refunds, so they can no longer comment on his page. So again, it's really, really bizarre behaviour from Retro Computers, but they seem to think it's acceptable. So anyway, we'll move on. So for this next section, I want you to cast your eye onto the greyed out box from Retro Computers. And the message is aimed directly at me. It says, "You are no longer a backer, and therefore you should not be leaving messages here. You are not only spamming this section of the campaign, you are sending abusive messages to the team pretending to be a journalist. You are not, and demanding interviews with the MD. Amongst other things, you are annoyed because we are late. So to be clear, every time you behave in any of the ways listed above, it is actually you personally that is delaying the project further." Now, I'm just going to absolutely destroy that bullshit right now. So anyway, as you can see, the interviews are on the emails are on the screen. And my initial email was sent on the 9th of December 2016 at 4:24. Says, "I was wondering if you would like to take time out of your busy schedule for telephone interview for my social media channel, so that I can inform my viewers on the current situation with the Vega Plus, as many people seem to be disgruntled with the vague answers and lack of information on the Indiegogo Vega Plus site. If you would like to accept this invitation, then please let me know, as I'm sure there are many people who are wanting proper no-frills answers to this current status of the Vega Plus. Thank you." So she sent me a reply saying, "Please send a link to your YouTube channel, although I will say it is unlikely given that we only give interviews to accredited journalists." So then I respond with, "Thanks for the quick response. No, I'm not prepared to give you my channel, as I don't see why this would make a difference. However, the opportunity is there should you wish to proceed. On the other hand, if you don't mind me sending you detailed questions for honest and truthful responses, then that's fine also. I do, however, appreciate that you are busy, but as you can understand, people have backed the Vega Plus console with their hard-earned money and want straight and honest answers, including me." So then she responds, "I'm afraid then we have to decline your offer." So then obviously I say, "As expected, thank you for your time." So they already know that I'm not a feckin' journalist. They already know I'm not a journalist. So why are they sending messages, making messages public, basically saying that I am pretending to be a journalist demanding interviews with the MD? As you can see from my emails, that's not even close to the case. So anyway, we'll move on. On the 11th of the 12th, 2016, I also received an email. And that email goes on to say, "On Friday, you contacted the office asking for a telephone interview for my social media channel." They quoted me on that. "We asked you to provide details of the channel as you are not a journalist by your own admission." So again, they already know I'm not a journalist. So why are they saying these things? "You responded, 'No, I'm not prepared to give you my channel, as I don't see why this would make a difference.' As you can see, that's on my email. However, the opportunity is there should you wish to proceed. We don't give interviews to people who are not journalists. We have given you honest answers and you do not accept them." Well, that's a load of crap. as you can see, I've not even pretended to be a journalist, and they're going out on making it public record on their website saying that I said that I was pretending to be a journalist. Not even close to the case, and I wasn't demanding to speak to the MD. I was sending over emails. Again, this is something that is common with Retro Computers. They always go on the offensive. So anyway, we will once again move on. On the 12th of December 2016, they also posted more comments saying, on Friday you contacted the office asking for a telephone interview for my social media channel. Again, regurgitating the same thing. We asked you to provide details of the channel as you are not a journalist by your own admissions. You responded, no, I'm not prepared to give you my chance. I don't see why this will make a difference. However, the opportunity is there should you wish to proceed. We don't give interviews to people who are not journalists. We have given you honest answers. You do not accept them. So that was obviously the email that I've just read out as well. And then they go on to claim that I'm in contact with at least one person. Now, I'm not going to deny that at all. So I put down at the bottom, where is this brilliant product then? Let's see the latest, most up-to-date pictures or video then, if you don't mind. It will put many people's minds at ease. So, like I say, they have a habit of just blatantly lying, and to be quite frank, it's about time these people were brought to account. So anyway, once again, just to confirm that, somebody else put on it saying, hi RCL, who's such and such. Also, I've said no abuse as you describe it. I was involved in an email conversation with Suzanne Martin, which she was happy to reply to. And I've had my emails in that conversation available on my Twitter account for all to see. So the guy gives his Twitter account and then puts down, in them I state my disappointment with the RCL's customer relations, which I can completely relate to. I urge backers to read. I've been firm but fair. I will stop posting if you stop accusing me of abuse. I've abused no one. Retract this accusation, please. So somebody else who's quite livid of these false accusations being made by Retro Computers. But, you know, do we expect anything less? Probably not. So it tends to be a bit of a thing for Retro Computers. Like I say, if you challenge them, they don't like it, they go on the offensive and start making accusations, which is just completely wrong. I mean, come on. And yet, even more bullshit lies ahead. So anyway, on the 21st of the 10th, 2016, I sent Suzanne Martin another email saying, hi, I haven't yet received any communication as to when the launch event is. Any ideas as to when this will be? Also, when can I be expecting to receiving my Sinclair Vega Plus? So she responded, hi, we have a very secret event coming up and I am just putting the list together. I will be in touch next week to invite you. Please don't mention this on social media as this is ticket only private event. Now again, an absolute load of crap, because I asked this email because I knew the day before the launch event happened then, and it wasn't one that I was invited to like they said to me, offered to me in my very early emails of this video. So again, an absolute load of crap. So on the, let's have a look, on the 29th of October, again the email's just in front of you, I made a load of comments, just running through a few things for Suzanne Martin to double check upon. And again, I would recommend pausing the video just to read through them. And also, I've also put down to see if she could enlighten me on some issues. So there's 5 issues there that I wanted her to take a look at. And lo and behold, God bless her, she got back to me on the 8th of November and answered all of my questions, saying that there is more than one launch event planned. And in regards to being offered to the launch, is this the same launch event? She says there are additional events. We will be in touch. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's only been the one. I also asked why is the status of my order still marked as refunded off Indiegogo when she said she was going to fix it to being put down as paid, which she did get around to that. So like I said earlier in my video, I will give her that one. And then if the launch event that I've been invited to hasn't happened yet, when can I be expecting my invitation? For the reasons listed above, we will be in touch closer to the event. And finally, will I still be receiving my Spectrum Vega Plus as I was told I will be? And when could I be expecting it? She said yes, 100%. Yes, 100%. Now please remember them words, because again, they're going to be very important for the later part of this video. So for this next section, the imposed order cancellation, this is pretty much straightforward. I received an email on the 9th of December 2016 from Indiegogo, and it basically says, please don't abuse the comment section. We are trying very hard here and your comments are unacceptable and abusive. We have already apologized to you for a mistake and we are still sorry about the error. That does not, however, mean you can abuse us. Please check the community guidelines, and if you no longer want to be involved, that is fine. You have already been refunded. Now, as you can see in previous messages, I've sent absolutely no abusive messages whatsoever. So, yeah, they weren't happy with it. It's because anybody that challenges them on anything, they basically refund them the money to basically, in effect, get their silence. So you can, if you've been refunded, you can no longer or should no longer be able to post comments on Indiegogo. And I've also included a screenshot of the my order with the status of cancellation on there as well. So yeah, so it looks like this 100% guaranteed promise from Suzanne Martin about me getting my Vega Plus was basically, again, another load of crap. It's just so laughable that you can't even make it up. So, getting nowhere with Retro Computers Ltd, I actually sent Indiegogo a couple of messages. Again, you can see them just on screen. And the first one is basically saying, you know, I can no longer post comments on their website, mainly because I'd been blocked, banned should I say, but like I say, somebody had also found a backdoor, so you can do that through the Indiegogo app. And I've also sent them another message questioning them about their shambolic treatment of backers. Not Indiegogo's, but obviously Retro Computer Limited's shambolic treatment of backers. And I'm still yet to hear back from them, so yeah, I'll try and keep you posted, but yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath anytime soon. So anyway, just to take the blatant piss out of backers even more, the actual Roll of Honour perk at this current moment in time is still available. So again, it's something else that needs to be questioned. They're still taking money in for this perk, when really, going by their website, as you can see on screen now, the actual perk should have closed on the 19th of October. So there we have it, just there then, as confirmation. That's on their website. And finally, we move on to an article from the Inquirer, dated the 10th of August 2016. And it goes on to say in here that Paul Andrews and Chris Smith distanced themselves from Retro Computers back in April 2016 because they had repeatedly asked about the timescales and progress of the forthcoming Spectrum Vega Plus and had not received the information they needed to give an informed answer. Then it goes on to say, as a result of inquiries received and their concern for the backers of the project, several weeks ago Smith and Andrews via their solicitors posed multiple questions to the current directors of Retro Computers Ltd through their solicitors, including as to the status of the proposed Vega Plus project, preparation, software, production, timescales, etc., and the financial resources of the company to meet the expected cost of development and production, and so on. And then it goes on to say, sadly, Retro Computers Ltd has failed to respond at all to these requests, or indeed to earlier similar requests, and have not provided any information or answers to Andrews and Smith. Well, they've not only failed to provide any answers to Andrews or Smith, but they've also failed to provide answers to their backers also. So, click on the link, read the article, you'll find it quite fascinating, and it will give you a bit more of a deeper insight as to how the current directors of this company work. So the final question is this a company that I can trust? And I would have to say unequivocally to that, the answer is no. The way they treat their backers like imbeciles, the way they evade questions, the way they dismiss backers who are asking probing questions because they probably just don't want to reveal anything because they potentially have got nothing to reveal anyway, which seems to be the case. I wouldn't even touch this company with Bill Gates' money. I wouldn't even go there. Personally, if you wanted my opinion, I would wait to see if these consoles actually get manufactured, and if they do, I would actually wait for them to turn up in retail and purchase one then. So I'm going to end it there. If you've had any issues with Retro Computers, then please let me know in the comments section below, and also leave me a thumbs up too, and hopefully I will catch you again very, very soon. So until next time, take care and thanks for watching.